Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the Black Manga Critic here. We gonna talk about manga and stuff. All right, we got the guy Naya, knowledgeable dude over here. All right, not one of those brain dead.
I'm not leaking sludge out the brain, you know.
Yeah, every time you say that, it just like I always start cracking up. I can't remember when you tweeted that today. Like maybe it was like this morning or something like that. And I got up and I saw that was the first thing I saw. And I just started laughing. I laughed like a good like 2 minutes straight. It was funny.
Oh, yeah, my goodness. I feel like I found like the word I needed. Like this is a good word, and I feel like it doesn't step on anyone's toes. Like there it is, brain dead. I got it, kind
of. I mean.
But some of these takes just been awful. That's why.
No, yeah. I mean, like for me, like I haven't read the chapter, so I don't know enough, but I don't know enough to be like, hey, like this chapter was blah 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 because I've read them, but I do know enough. Like when someone mentions like a particular thing, then like I can make like a general sort of like I can get like the gist of like what happened and why people are saying what they're saying. So for me, I think where I really want to start is just like maybe to talk a little bit about the sort of time travel stuff, because I know that's a thing, and I've seen it all over Twitter, right? So I want to talk a little bit about that because I think there's a way in which conversations like these, like this one, those conversations just get kind of like ridiculous, and people sort of lose sight of what they're actually talking about or what they actually want to say. Yep. And so I really just kind of like I want to get your ideas, like how do you feel about it, and then like I'll talk about that and I'll sort of put in my 2 cents, and then we'll just kind of move on to a sort of more, I think, general conversation about like time travel, like in literature, how that works, and blah blah blah.
Right. Well, so initially when I kind of heard one of the theories, I wasn't really with it. I never really had a problem with One Piece having time travel or whatever.
Yeah.
Especially like my general issue with the reaction with the community was you're overreacting way too early, and 2 is for the people who are like it doesn't belong in One Piece or it doesn't make sense in the One Piece story. And then I'm just sitting here like, at what point do we draw the line of what's too much? Because this series has been absurd from the jump.
Thanks.
And like talking about all the powers, all types of races, lightning, rain, weather phenomena that don't make sense. I tell people, you remember Sanji couldn't reconstruct your face with his boot. He turned Wanze pretty. He turned Duval pretty. People go on fire underwater. Automatas, like literal like machines, to the moon. Why is this too much? Like, what is the issue? Like, why? It's a pirate manga. Like, I guess, but like, it's One Piece. One Piece has been crazy for so long. So like, I'm not trying to hear all that. So I don't know. It's just, it's like give it a chance to get off its feet first before you freak out to the highest degree. And so far, as much as what we know is we move forward in time, and moving forward in time doesn't actually cause any paradoxes, because in a sense you can just have been inactive for 20 years or so. What it is, I understand some people have reservations are like, okay, time travel can make a story a little wonky and stuff. I get that, but like just relax and let it happen first, and then we'll go from there.
No, yeah, I think I think that that's one of the reasons why I said like, okay, I legit need to take a break. I think part of it is like, okay, like I'm not necessarily like, it's not even so much. I think at first I was like, I'm not feeling these chapters, but I think what it was that like, and I think that's with a lot of the manga that I'm reading now, just in general, like I think there are certain manga that like I would enjoy as like volumes. Like if I read them like in bulk, I'd enjoy them. Like that's just me. So like Hunter x Hunter is just something that like I just enjoy kind of like dissecting, but I also understand that like when I reread like the sort of Dark Continent stuff, I enjoyed it way more when I like read through it with all the chapters together than when it was like week to week and it came out. Outside of like the Hisoka Crow stuff, because that was just like heat. That was just like heat. And that was battle. It was great.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like the battle?
Like the literal, like from a spectator standpoint, the actual execution of the fight to me wasn't very interesting because it was just dialogue and just talking. It was hype. It was built up. I'm not trying to take away from the abilities being used and stuff. Yeah, it's like in terms of how it was choreographed and stuff, I don't think it was that interesting to look at.
I got you. And I think like there are some like I mean, I will say this, like there are definitely like points where it feels like they're kind of standing still for a while. Like there are points where they're actually like standing still for a while, like they're just kind of like facing each other, and then like this dialogue, and it takes a while before they actually start moving. And it's not even like one of them starts moving so much as like Chrollo makes the judge like the ref move. So it's like they haven't even really started moving yet. So it's just kind of like, you know, I get it. Like I get it. Like if you're like, yo, like where's the movement? Where's the, you know, sort of like kinetic like stuff? Where's all of that? Right? Like I totally get that. And then I think for me, like I just kind of enjoy like that stuff. Like I really like dialogue. Like I really like just kind of reading that stuff and looking through it and trying to figure it out. Like if I need to, like, you know, figure out, like, okay, like what's going on here? What's Togashi doing here? But that's just me. So like I would never tell somebody like, you know, you should love like lots of text in your manga. Like, no, I'm not gonna tell you that, because like that's like a premise. If you don't like lots of text, and like if you're looking for particular things and you don't get those particular things, then you're not gonna be happy. You know, so I try not to be like, oh, you know, if you don't like this thing or like this, the way that this, you know, fight was like set up, then like you trash for that or something like that. I'm like for me, like no, go ahead. Sorry.
I guess just with Togashi, it's like I never like the dialogue isn't. I know I rip on the dialogue a lot, like it's an essay. I'm not reading that. Like I rip on it. Like I don't really mean it. Like I like Madoka Box, right? Madoka Box has an obnoxious amount of text, okay, and I love all of it, right? So it's really that's not actually the issue. I'm just being a jerk. But when it came to like the battle with Togashi in general, I feel a lot of times is he tells me too much and doesn't show me enough, because it's a storytelling medium of art and literature where I'm like, there's a lot of points where I feel like if you just showed me and you portrayed it well, I can get the gist of it without you having to completely tell me. I want to use an example from the Katakuri fight, which I thought was excellent. And this is the initial part where he reveals his face to Flambe and stuff, right? Later around, we got a little bit more with Brûlé and oh my god, what's her brothers, Daifuku and Oven, like a little Oven, yeah. Like, but at the time, basically all we got was like, he's like, you know, don't interrupt a man's like one-on-one duel, right? And just based off of their reaction to it and how like Flambe, who was his #1 fan, his greatest big brother, best big brother, all that, the way he reacted to that was like, I got it. I just with the one panel, he looks like a pelican eel, and his strength is monstrous. But just that one panel, I understood like why he hides his face, why he posturizes, why he's doing this, because they'll turn on him so fast. And it's supposed to be a family, it's supposed to be a blood related family that has all kinds of races together, yet there's so much discrimination. So like just with that one panel, I got so much information, and it wasn't really any dialogue there. And with Togashi, it's like, just because you literally put what everyone's thinking in the entire fight, people are like, wow, this is so tactical. I'm like, no, man, this is just them thinking, though. He just put their entire thought on the page. And to me, it's like, there's moments where I like it, but sometimes I'm like, man, if you guys want to just throw a punch and figure out each other's ability without telling each other, please.
I don't know. I think like for me, that's like I like that, but that's just me. Like I will say this, like I don't want to see that for every Nen battle or every Nen battle, but I think for that fight, I was glad that I got that, because for me it was like, I like seeing that when it comes to like someone like Hisoka, where it seems like he's just super cool and calm and collected, and he just kind of knows everything all the time, and he's just like always like way too many steps ahead. And rightfully so when he's fighting like certain opponents. But like with this one, like the reason why I liked it was because it was really important for me to see that he had to really think. Like he had to like do all of these like mental like sort of gymnastics to say like, okay, like I'm not even sure what Crow is going to do next. Like I gotta go from like scenario A and then tangent A, B, C, and then like go off like it was ridiculous. And that's why I liked it, because it was like it was like Hisoka was like humbled, you know, and I appreciated that. And you could see him thinking like he was like, yo, like I gotta figure this out, otherwise he's gonna kill me, you know. So I really like seeing
I might have to revisit it. I might have to reread it. Before I get to my next stream for the Hunter, so I'm gonna have to reread it. But I do remember reading it weekly, being like,
no, yeah, yeah.
But like you said earlier, I do think generally speaking, reading in bulk is just a lot better. There are actually some things where I actually enjoy the weekly experience more, whether there's monthly, bi-monthly, whatever. But I think with most series, it would be great. Like even with the last stuff with Taizai, I won't spoil it, but the stuff with like, you know, a certain character, I feel like if you write that in bulk, it's great. Even for me, sometimes it was a slog because I felt like he kind of slowed the pace down to a crawl. But yeah,
I feel you. Definitely.
But I haven't been keeping up with Hunters. Like the last thing I read was when they were looking for Hisoka on the boat. That's the last thing I read. So I got to catch up. But as the stuff, editors hyped it up. Has it been like crazy or no?
You talking about Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah, like the newest, like the last 2 chapters.
I wouldn't know. He just like Tagashi basically just picked up where he left off. Like it was just like, you know, okay, like I left off with what was going on before the hiatus, and I'm just continuing. It was just like boom, 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 like that, like, you know, it was what it was. It wasn't like anything super hype or anything like that. Although I will say, like I enjoyed 381. To me, was really good. But again, like I think, and this is just like my experience, like if I hadn't reread the chapters, I would have been like, I would have been confused. I'd be like, wait, who's this person? How are they related to this other guy? Like it would have been, to me, it would have been super confusing. So rereading the chapters in bulk and like doing that, the Dark Continent chapters, with on the Viz website, because they had it available for a while. That was like super helpful. So when I got back into like when I read 381, I was like, oh, this is hype. Like I know exactly what's going on. I know why this is like hype. And you know, we just moved on. So to me, it was good. To me, it was good. But, you know,
yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a reread from. I think I'm from the Dark Continent. Whenever starts, I'll probably start from there and just catch up and then opinion. I guess I just been really disconnected with Hunter x Hunter for a long time because of all the hiatus and stuff. So I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. You know.
Yes. So I got to do I'm not reading the whole thing again, but I'll start from like the Dark Continent, I guess.
Yeah, and it's easy. I mean, so when I reread it, I like started from like the Dark Continent, like that sort of like the stuff with the Zodiacs and like that chapter. Then I skipped the Hisoka Crow because I'm like, I'm not gonna read all these chapters. Like I've reread that fight already. Like I know what happened. I can follow. Like I'm good. And it wasn't like particularly like important in a sort of narrative sense, because like it was very much so like a kind of like pocket sort of like sub sort of narrative. So I was like, I'm good. So I skipped that, went to the stuff like that, you know, that was vital to the Dark Continent stuff, and it was good. It was a good read. I enjoyed it. It really allowed me to like catch things that I didn't catch the first time from week to week. And I just think Hunter x Hunter is just like, especially now, like from Greed Island on, like Tagashi to me is clearly writing in for volumes. Like he's not writing like for week to week. I don't think he's not writing week to week. But I will say that like it's like, dude, if you're still putting out stuff week to week, like there should be a way in which, you know, your chapter should be more accessible. So I like, cause like it's like, you know, like you're a manga, like you're working for Weekly Shonen Jump, for Shueisha. Like you gotta do that. Like that's like a part of like, to me, the shonen like Weekly Shonen Jump mangaka job description. It's like you putting out chapters week to week. There should be something about that chapter that like is entertaining in some way. It doesn't have to be like, whoa, 11 out of 10, but there's got to be something there.
After every chapter, there should be something that makes you want to read the next chapter.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so in some ways, I feel like I think for me, I'm fine with the stuff that Togashi give me, but I do feel like, you know, he could always do a little bit more in some ways. In terms of that, in terms of like sort of hooking like the reader that's reading week to week, so they want to read like the next week's chapter.
Yeah, man, he's a very competent writer. I'll never take that away from him. Yeah. Like, it's just the consistency, and I just think that he's weak in the art department, and that's back from Yu Yu Hakusho. Like his art, not like he's a bad artist. It's just it's not great.
Yeah, he's not like. It's like they're just like, for me, like I would never put Togashi on, like, you know, like when I tweeted my list, I was like, I'm not putting Togashi on that list. Like that would have never crossed my mind to put him on that list.
Yeah. For art, you know, like writing, sure, art, no.
You know, because it's like, it's not that he can't draw. It's just like, you know, like he's not like Togashi is not like, he's not Oda, he's not Akira Amano, he's not Miura, like he's not Motohage, he's not any of those like artists. Like, it's not. Sorry, he can draw, and he's great with like watercolors, you know.
Those volumes be clean.
Yeah, but like he's not on their level. Not on their level. Okay. What I really sort of wanted to get to is like also to talk about like why do you feel and I agree with you. Just to get that out there. But like, why do you feel that like time travel in One Piece, like how do you feel like it will like, or why do you feel like it'll work? Why do you feel like it'll work? Like, how do you sort of see that working in a positive way, like with One Piece?
Well, like I said, like a little earlier, like for me, One Piece has always been insane. It's absurd. You got like Gaimon is just the dude in a box. Crazy things happen like all the time, and it's just like this fantasy world with anything's possible to me. And space and time are usually two concepts that go hand in hand, right? Yep. You would think to like Marvel, there's a space stone, a time stone, right? So in One Piece, we already have things that kind of deal with the space category. We have things that make pocket dimensions or other dimensions. Brule has the mirror world. Montdor has this book, Buku Buku no Mi. Even Blue Note has the door no Mi, right? So you can make like an air door and hide in like a pocket dimension. So once the space is already there, for me, at some point, time was gonna come. Now, I was probably thinking more of a time or something, but to be able to stand maybe my understanding of like the many world interpretation theory and like just comics in general, because comics, time travel, you know, Flash be messing up timelines for fun, you know, like like time travel is pretty normal for me. It's not a big deal.
Oh yeah,
One Piece, like for me, I think is gonna be used in a very simple manner right now in Wano, where like some people got sent forward in time, and that's just about it. I don't think they're gonna be jumping parallel timelines, going back, rewriting, meeting themselves. I don't think that's gonna happen. Not that I would be. I'm okay, but I just think that a lot of people overreacted too quickly. People like, oh, it ruins stories. So I'm like, I read tons of stories into around time travel that are awesome, or dabble in it later on that are great. I even think Reborn did a good job with it in their future arc. So just like, I think for me, I see it like, because I guess I don't even mind if I just say it because I know you didn't read it, but like within the context of the chapter, the way it sounded, basically, Odin's wife made like a prophecy, like in 20 years, 9 scabbards or shadows or samurai, if you want to call them, will like save Wano. So for me, it's like it could be devil fruit, wherever it may be, something simple, with some sort of method. They sent Kiemon and company in Momonosuke 20 years and forward in time. And to me, I'm thinking along the lines of laws Openomi, if he wanted to perform the ageless surgery or whatever, it would cost him his life. So maybe with her, the ability that someone used, it's like with certain years cost lifespan, or to send somebody in time that cost your life. So to me, I just think someone sacrificed himself, sent them in time, and that's just about it. Now they're just 20 years later in the future. I don't think they're going to be doing constant nonsense, because their prophecy made it seem that the conflict in Wano will be solved 20 years from the day she made it, which would be now, the present. So I just think that people just went crazy with, I can't believe it. It's a pirate manga. I was like, oh my God, well, everyone just calm down. Like, let's let it happen. Take a chill pill. It's not that serious yet.
Yeah.
If it's bad, we'll criticize. If it's bad, I'll be the first person to criticize it, I promise. But I have faith in Oda.
All right. Actually, that to me is really, really like I actually like that idea that that it would cost you like your life, like to like send whatever, like an arbitrary number of people or persons or whatever to like a future time or something. That to me, I would like that. Like I would think that that makes sense. Because it's sort of like like time travel is dangerous, and you can't all that stuff about you don't do that, don't time travel, right? But it's like I would like that.
He's been very excited to write Wano for a long time too, so I really don't think he's gonna mess it up. So
yeah. I think for me, what again, and I mentioned this earlier. One thing I sort of realized is I'm just not again, for me, at the moment, I'm not invested in the sort of overall story of One Piece. And I think and I think sometimes people are like, oh, if you're not interested, then man, you're not a real One Piece fan. I'm like, look, man, there are times where you might not be interested in a lot of things, and you might just be exhausted, you might just be tired. You might just be like, all right, I only got enough time in my life. I don't have so much energy to devote to certain things. I used to cover way too many Weekly Shonen Jump manga, and try to do recons, and I try to do all this stuff, and I'm like, right now I got too many things I gotta do. So I can only really review and we'll talk about and react to a few manga. So I had to figure out okay, what are the things that I have to drop? What are the things that I'm just I want to read this week to week? And even the stuff that I want to read week to week, I'm not even really reading one week to week. I might miss a week. I might miss Promised Neverland. I had to react to 2 chapters yesterday because I missed it the last week. So even those manga that I really like, I'm not even catching up in the way that I would and I'm invested in those. So I think people just need to understand sometimes you just not in. It's not even so much that you don't like the entire story or anything like that anymore. It's more it takes a certain I think energy to not only read to read those chapters, but to think about what's going on, the stakes of certain plot events, to have discussions about those plot events with people, to set up those conversations and discussions. It's a lot, So for me, I was like, all right, I gotta take a break. So I think for me, it wasn't even so much that the chapters are just boring. I think it was just I didn't have the energy to really even think about the stakes for certain chapters and what was going on and what was Oda trying to tell certain people and stuff like that. I think a lot of people in this community they need a break. They really do. And I think too many of them don't realize that they need a break. You gotta tell yourself, yo, I gotta step away. I'm doing too much. You can say I don't like a chapter, right? That's fine. But if you're not enjoying week to week experience, take a step back.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because your interest is your interest is wane. It's wane to come for every reason. You the story with me is I've been reading this stuff since I was 11. It's just a part of my daily life week. I've been reading it for more than half my life, so it is what it is, or watching it, right? So I'm just very invested in these characters. But when it comes to, I always tell people in series, the more you care about the series itself, the more invested you are, the more you're gonna notice certain little things, the more you're gonna like certain stuff. So like I could notice something extremely small in One Piece that someone else might not notice, and I think it's a big deal, but they don't care. It's like, oh, where's Kaido? Like, oh, where's Jack? Like, you know, like this is boring. I got set. I don't.
Where are the meatheads?
Like I don't know where all these combat dudes came from, but anyways, right? So I can I can get that because like, so I keep it really. I rag up My Hero a lot, but I just do it because I'm just I'm just being a jerk. Like I said, I'm being a dingus, but. When it comes to the actual writing of My Hero, there's no internal problems, there's no inconsistencies with the story. I don't really have any issue with their writing. The artwork is great. I even like the anime stuff. I just don't care. I don't like the characters. Like I am not invested in like Bakugo's growth. I don't care about Bakugo. He's a dingus. I don't care about Todoroki. It's just like my interest is not there. Now when you focus on a character that I like All Might or Mirio, I'm in there. I'm like, oh, there we go, my boys. Like, now I'm ready. Like, I'm excited. So, like right now, I haven't read My Hero in like three weeks. Like, because this stuff right now, I'm not interested in it. And it's not to say like Horikoshi's doing a bad job, but like when something happens that I care about, I'll be back. That's how it is. Take a step back. Like you said, like I felt like I was forcing myself every week to read it just so I can be a part of discussions. So I'm like, I don't need to do that, man. If I don't feel like reading it, let me just not read it.
No, feel you. And I think like what's always interesting. What's interesting to me is like I adore certain manga, but I also understand like when like it's very clear that like certain manga just something's going on with them. Like for let's say like Promised Neverland, right? Like the Promised Neverland, those first 30, 35, 37 chapters, eat. All right, like
I think it was almost too heat. It worried me.
Yeah,
you started a little too strong because now you got to live up to that, you know? Well, yeah, sorry, continue.
But no, and like I've enjoyed like what's been going on because like again like for me it's like I have to understand like I'm invested in certain characters. I'm invested in seeing like how they make certain decisions and who they talk to. Like you know what I mean? Like there are things that I'm invested in. Like you don't go on Twitter talking about Emma's my child, that's my daughter. Like I'm gonna buy all the back to school stuff, and when she changes this work. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'm invested. So of course I'm gonna be like, yo, Promised Neverland, man. That's that stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally understand that everything after the Gracefield House arc is not really near that heat. Like it's not like
it's
Goldie
part of
Pond.
the illusion being shattered in a sense because now you know what's really out there and why they're being withheld. So a lot of the mystery in a sense, like there's still a lot of mysterious elements, don't get me wrong, but just like, okay, so this is what's kind of happening, this is what it is outside. So it's like a little bit of that allure was gone because I think like the initial escape from Gracefield, oh my god, that was one of my favorite, like I guess like first arcs like ever. Like that was good. I think Promised Neverland has one of my favorite first chapters. I can say that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, one of my favorite first chapters, and it was the most refreshing thing to come out of Jump in a long time.
Yes.
I'll give it that.
Yes. And what's interesting is Stan, love the things you love, do all of that. Like I'm a proponent of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people also gotta be like real about the things that they love. Like if someone's like, got like a valid critique about the Promised Neverland, I'm like, okay, you're right. Like those arcs, like let's say like the Goldie Pond arc. For me, like I actually like the Goldie Pond arc, but I feel like in terms of like certain characters,
mm-hmm.
the pacing of it at times, things like that. Like I feel like it could have been better. Like there are certain things that I feel like I don't know when it came to the stuff with Emma and the stuff where they were in the tunnels and all that stuff. Like
mm-hmm.
there's things like like this is cool, but there are some things that I feel like they could have done. They could have taken some more time. You know what I mean? Like and so here's the thing, right? The stuff with Goldie Pond, there was one point where they had like made these weapons like dumb fast. And I was like, that bothered me because I was like, wait, what?
Because things that take you out of it a little bit. Like, you're like, wait, huh? You know, it could take you out a little bit. So I get you. I got you. I felt that same way.
You know, and I was like, wait, what was the process? Like, where's the background here? I don't need like 80 chapters to describe, like, to talk about like the construction of these things, but it's like, just, you know, give us something, you know. And it seemed like it was kind of like, it's like one of those like instances where, you know, something is just kind of thrown into the story, and you're like, I'm not really feeling that. But, you know, so again, it's just like, there are, like, I stand The Promised Neverland, but I have no problem being like, I don't know about that. I feel like they're like certain characters get no real
love,
screen time, no love. Even though, did you see that popularity poll? I thought that was hilarious. That was
actually, I don't know if is it from the last year? Because I'm one behind.
Oh no, it was
it might have been 1 of 4. Was it 1 of 4? I feel like it might have been 1 of 4. Was it?
Nah, it was a while back. It was like a few chapters back. It was a few chapters back. Maybe like the 101st chapter or something like that. I don't know. But it was like, there was a character that made it into like the top, I think the top 10, and she wasn't like, it was like, who is this person?
That's what I thought about what's his name? Shinsu, the purple hair dude in My Hero, because I'm like, he's popular? Like I forgot he existed. I was like, I guess.
Yo, facts.
Yeah, so
that's how it go.
It'd be like that sometimes. But
what did I want to talk about? No, what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Because like in terms of, like you said, like, you know, you'll stand it, but you'll still criticize it. It's like, I don't like the notion of people trying to write you off and your opinion off, or your perspective, because you're a stan or a super fan of a series. Like, personally speaking, if I'm like I always regret this. Like, this, I'm gonna try to make the story brief. When I got into like Fate, Type Moon, Nasuverse stuff, so like Fate's Day, Tsukihime, Garden of Sinners and stuff, I wish a super stan was the person that got me to like follow the proper order, because it was more like the casual, just anime watchers who don't actually play the visual novels and stuff that told me to start with Fate Zero. Now, Fate Zero is a prequel to Fate Stay Night, but just in the same vein that Star Wars 4, 5, 6 is where you're supposed to start, because they withhold certain story elements. So actually watching the prequels first is the spoiler, despite it coming first. They kind of ruined that experience for me, because now when I'm playing Fate Stay Night, there's things I'm not supposed to know that I already know, so the experience wasn't as great. So it's like, it's like I want to talk to a stan of something so I know how to get into something, or like, and just even with like with My Hero, like sometimes I think they go way too far with some things, but I'm like, that's something I'd never noticed because I'm not that invested in the series, and I agree with that. That was a cool find, whatever it may be, or like, oh, like, you know, Bakugo did this, but now he does this. Oh, I didn't notice that. That's cool, right? Because you'll notice that stuff. So like, don't try to be just because like I like One Piece a lot. You can't, or Tower of God, you can't write off what I'm saying because you're a fanboy, you're a One Piece tard. Like, doesn't make any sense to me. And like, I do criticize One Piece. People try to say I don't, but no one ever pays attention when I do. They just kind of gloss over it. But then as soon as I like stand, like, yeah, like they're on my side again. Like, it's just like no one paid attention. Like, I was probably the hardest person on the Dressrosa arc week to week. I don't think anybody gave Dressrosa as much flack as I did when I was reading that week to week. Now, I wasn't in the community at the time, so a lot of people don't know that, but I was really hard on it. And there's tons of things even if you talk to me, like, yeah, I can agree with that. That can be highlighted. But like the Katakuri fight probably has the opposite fight, in my opinion, opposite problem in the Corolla fight. I think there's more things you need to tell us, especially about observation hockey. And there wasn't enough there. So like that had the opposite problem. Like, don't try to sit there and act like I don't criticize the series. I do. It's not perfect by any means. It's just my favorite.
Yeah. And it's like, what's interesting to me is like, the way I sort of think about it is it's like if you think about like scholars, like it's like literary scholars and stuff like that, like, and you like, there are like literally people out here who really just like, they're writing about the books that they stand, like they stand like classic. Like, there are people who like, they stand Toni Morrison, so they are scholars of Toni Morrison, so they are critical of it. Like some like, right, it's like to me, like standing, like if you stand like something, if you love something, if you're like super invested in it, like you're probably gonna be even more critical in certain ways. Like you like, right, like you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm a like, man, this is garbage. I'm throwing this in the trash. Like, this is, like, you're not gonna be like, oh, this entire thing is trash. Like, you're just gonna be like, hey, here's this point that, you know, I'm just gonna like kind of like look at, think about, analyze, critique in a constructive way, and then you move on, right? So I don't know, I think people like don't really understand that, like, the critics that they probably really love, like, our stands, oftentimes like our stands are the things that they're critiquing when it comes, especially when it comes to like literature and like media and stuff like that, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but like, it just this weird thing where like I just find a lot of people try to write off a lot of people for a certain series, like, oh, just My Hero fanboy, and it's like, well, I mean, is what they're saying making sense? Because a lot of times what it'll be is like someone will say something to me like, okay, let's talk about one of like Annie Twitter's or whatever's favorite buzzwords, character development, right? So they'll be like, oh, well, Luffy doesn't go through any character development, so it's bad. It's like, he's trash character, yeah, X, Y, and Z, right? So I think a lot of problems with some One Piece fans is, or even just in general, they'll get defensive about something and then they'll fire back with something the series doesn't actually have, like world building, whatever. That's another buzzword I really like. So for me, when people say that, I don't ever disagree. Like, Luffy doesn't really go together. I go, yeah, I know, and then it takes me back because they're not expecting me to say that. Where I'm like, in a series like My Hero Academy, Deku responding to the various things around him growing and becoming a better hero and learning how to be a better person and whatnot is integral to the story, right? That's a part of it. Even Bakugo, because Bakugo, he comes across as like a bully, villainous type of person, but you see him starting to slowly become a little more heroic and stuff. We started with the arc with those kids and stuff, right? So like that's integral to the story. Luffy had already laid out for the most part what he was going to do back in Arlong Park. I can't navigate. I can't cook. I can't, I can't do this. I can't even lie. Arlong's like, so what are you good for? I'll send you flying. I'll beat you. I'll whoop your butt. Like that. They look for you. Like this is my job is to find the strongest person here and beat him up. That's what I do, right? Luffy has gone through very good character arcs. He's gotten some characterization with the backstory with Ace and stuff, and he is getting better at decision making. There is some growth there and whatnot, but he's going to largely remain the same character he is in chapter 1, and then whatever 3,000 chapters later, whenever it ends, he's probably going to be the same. Because a lot of argument I see a lot is like with the Ace thing and him losing his crew at the time, he should have gotten more serious. And I'm like, listen, if you thought Luffy was gonna like lose Ace and come back and be like, the seas are harsh, I lost my brother to the pirate life, and he's like, guts, like you're not paying attention. This is not the series for you. Like, that was never going to happen. I don't know what you were expecting, but Luffy is a fun-loving dude that likes the innocent, like his love for adventuring is like innocent, it's like pure, and that's the way he's going to be no matter what. So you expecting that drastic change from him, it's just not going to happen. And you can scream from the rooftops that it needs to happen, but it's not going to. And so just stop complaining about it. It's not integral to the story. And then like world building. One Piece has great world building. So now everyone thinks, well, my series also has great world building. So I think they gotta like make up reasons for that. It's like your series, you don't have to. There isn't a list of things you need in a story you have to check off for it to be good. If your series is a comedy series and it makes people laugh, your story is doing what its intended purpose is. It's funny. It's a good story because it's comedic. You think because Defrag doesn't have battle systems like Hunter x Hunter or tactics, it makes it inferior? No, it's not trying to do the same thing. So it's like, stop doing that. It's just annoying to see all the time. Like Tokyo Ghoul has a better world. It's in Tokyo. It's in Tokyo. And honestly, just establishing your setting and making it make sense and making it feel important and alive is good enough. You don't have to have, there's tons of fantastical worlds that are like super, like there's like all kinds of stuff in it, but it's not interesting because it doesn't matter, right? You don't have to have some kind of Adventure Time-esque world for your story to have good world building. You just need to establish your setting well and properly for the readers or viewers to understand. So like just relax. Yeah.
And I think like one thing I had to, and just like more recently, I think like sort of stepping away from like reading reading manga and like even just stepping away from like certain conversations and kind of like and discussions, like it's just really kind of helped me be like, you know what, I felt like I got sucked into like the pace of like the Twitterverse and like this like community, you know what I mean? And you just start being like, yeah, like, you know, you just start going way too hard for no reason. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, what is the purpose? Like, what's the end goal? Like what's at the end of this rainbow that like I'm like, you know, traveling on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of had to just like, okay, let me take a step back. Like, why am I arguing about whether like One Piece or Hunter x Hunter is better? And I think for me, I think there are people like kind of like us that, you know, let's say like when we do kind of have those conversations, like a lot of it is just like to be kind of funny, but also to just kind of like be like, yo, like I like this stuff. Like I want to talk about this stuff and just to talk about it. There's no real like, oh, this is definitely better. This is definitely better. Like, you know, like, yeah, like there are definitely like stories that are just not like that. We just know like they are just not like, in terms of like a certain type of quality. It's like One Piece. If you compare One Piece and Dragon Ball Super, like it's like, yes, like in terms of like a sort of like sense of like quality, it's like One Piece is just, it's just better. Like I think like that's just something that like if people like watch through and you see what's going on, you understand that. But we also understand that like Dragon Ball Super is something that's clearly made just to be like, yo, I'm just trying to shut off like the majority of like my brain and just
sell toys and merchandise. Yeah. and it does its job.
Yeah. Like, you know, so it's like I don't bother to like make that comparison because it's like, okay, that's not something that's like, it's not useful. It's not something that like I feel like makes like the world a better place. It doesn't like that doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me happy to be like, Dragon Ball Super's trash, throw it in the trash. Like that doesn't make me happy. So I'm not gonna waste my time doing that. And I think like for me, I think a lot of people like when you start to compare like let's say like One Piece versus My Hero, One Piece versus Hunter x Hunter. Like to me, if I was gonna do that, the only reason I'd do that is to talk about both of them and the things that I love about both of them. That's it. And maybe some things that I feel like, you know, oh, this was kind of weird, but you know. And then if it's like something that is lesser known, like if I was to compare like One Piece to, I don't know, like Kimetsu no Yaiba or something like that, I would just be doing that to just be like, yo, go read Kimetsu no Yaiba. Like that would be the reason, like just to put it out there, you know. So I don't know. People need to figure out why they're having the discussions that they're having. I think
you don't need to compare your series to something like One Piece or whatever it may be to validate your series. You know, even if it's like a Jump or something, you don't have to do all that. If you like it, you like it. It's doing good. It's doing good. Just enjoy it. And in the same vein where you're like, you know, the My Hero versus One Piece stuff, like when I kind of do something like that, like a contrast and compare, it's never to be like really, this is better than this is better than that. It's just to go through the various things we like or may not like about the series and kind of see where they overlap or where they don't overlap. So like, for example, like I have this like probably, I think one of the videos I'm most proud of, I did Avatar comparison, Legend of Korra to Last Airbender, right? And it wasn't really about me being like, one's better than the other. It was just to be like, what did I think maybe like Airbender was maybe more comedic. This had better action, you know, like this. I talk about the things I liked about both series and why I think both of them are worth your time, whatnot, X, Y, and Z, right? It wasn't to be like, oh, the Last Airbender is clearly superior to Korra because that's like the general take. That's not what the intended purpose of the video was. It was just to kind of open some eyes and see that both series have good things. I feel like The Last Airbender built a great foundation for Korra to be built up upon, and then just really all I was going through. So it wasn't to be like this is better than the other. It's just like, no, they both do some cool things, and some things maybe one is better than the other. Yep. So that's why when that whole My Hero One Piece was happening, I didn't really want to be a part of it because I'm like, this is not a conversation I care to be a part. I'm not interested in this.
Oh yeah,
it's like, like My Hero, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Like Hero. I agree. And like, two things. Like, I felt like Roger was one of those people that I think understood that, and like when he set up the stream, like that's what he had in mind. He was like, I just want people to talk about these two series because Roger loves both of them. Like he loves My Hero, like he stands My Hero, he stands One Piece, like he loves these things. So I think a lot of us we really just kind of wanted to talk about why we love both series. You know what I mean? Like when Roger had his bracket stream, it was really just like we just want to like stand like the manga on here that people aren't just kind of like, you know, into at all, or they haven't read yet or something like that. Like people, like we were like standing My Hero, we were standing like Haikyuu, we were like, yo, like Haikyuu, like Laz.
That was a big deal. That was the one with the Dragon Ball thing, right? That was a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was funny. I was just like, man, like I love both of those, but
they're so vastly different too. Like with those sports series, like it was not. I wish I was there for that one. That would have been funny.
Yeah, and it was cool.
It was cool. Team IQ, by the way. Volleyball.
And like the stuff with Korra and the Last Airbender, like I completely agree. Like there were things about both of them that I really, really loved. Like I think with Last Airbender, like comedy GOAT, like just dope comedy throughout.
The cast was, I think, a little better.
Yep.
Like those guys,
definitely.
Toph and Katara, Sokka, like way better than like Mako and stuff.
Yeah,
so, like, better cast for sure. Yeah,
I agree. It was like I not only were they just better in their own shows, but like they were like they were so good, and you could tell that they were so good because when they were sort of like, I guess like presented to you in Korra, like they just had this like they were just dope, like they were so dope, and you remembered how dope they were, so they had this like aura about them when they were in that other show. Like when they were on the screen, you were like, yo, this is Aang. Like it was like, yo, Katara, let's go. Like
that's Toph. Like, you know, like that's the greatest earthbender ever, you know? Like that's Toph. Like, you know, like, just hype. I don't know, man. I don't get the Korra hate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and like Korra, I think some people really I think to me like they didn't like I mean, okay, I can understand if you didn't like a particular thing, if you're like, you know, that's just kind of whatever. But like I think the thing that I love about Korra is that it takes what the Last Airbender sort of did in terms of like the sort of like the consequences of like trauma and abuse and all those things, and it built upon that. Like it didn't like say, oh, okay, you know, we're gonna try to do what Airbender did and make comedy like
recycle it kind of, you know, because because like go ahead.
No, because it was like Korra, like to me that was my favorite thing. Like it hurt, but it was also like one of my favorite things about Korra, like watching her deal with this villain, dealing with Zahir Goat. All right, shout out to Zahir, best villain in that. And I think honestly, might be the best villain in the entire
in the Avatar universe, Avatar universe, comics included. Zahir was the top one.
Yeah, it's dope. And like she won that battle, but like
lost.
It was like she like she was assaulted, right? Like that was like the sort of narrative that they were trying to that they painted. It was like, okay, she won this battle, but like also like the hair fucked her up, and there was like the like the scars, right? Like the wounds, like the traces of that trauma, and she had to work through that, and it wasn't easy. It was like you had to watch her like deal with that and move past it. And even after she moved past it, she didn't really move past it. It was like that trauma, like those experiences. When she was talking to Zahir, she was like, "Oh,
yeah,"
you know what I mean? Like even
he was still kind of afraid of him, and he's the one shamed. Yeah. It was a great character arc. I loved it. It was awesome.
It was good. So people were kind of like, "Oh, you know, it was kind of boring," and I'm like, "That's some of the best stuff like from the series." You know, but I don't know.
It is what it is. I guess like when I said like for me, I prefer the cast. I think it's of Last Airbender. I think it's funnier just in general. In terms of storytelling format, I think that's just a personal thing. I didn't really have a say on that. Where it's like the Last Airbender is one overarching story: defeat Fire Lord Ozai, stop Fire Nation from taking over everything. Whereas with Korra, with every season, she dealt with something different, like anarchy, theology, whatever it may be. Right? So every season, some different type of antagonists. Where so whatever storytelling format suits you best, that's on you. For me, with Korra, I thought the villains were a lot better. I'm not going to really count Amon. I do think Amon was good until the very last episode, but I feel I blame the writing more than I blame the character, you know. But it is what it is. But I felt that every other one was great. Vatu / Unalak was pretty good. Zahir, great. Kuvira was amazing. I didn't like how the conflict with Kuvira ended, as in terms of like the literal ending, where it's kind of like, if you were willing to shoot at Bahar, what's his name? Bahar Jr. was, I think his name. Yeah. If you were willing to get rid of him to complete your goals of uniting the Earth Kingdom, I don't think you could get talked out of, like, you know. Yeah. You know, so that, like, the way that conflict literally ended rubbed me the wrong way, but the way the story ended, the animation ended, that was amazing. Like, I was happy they did that. I'm like, yo, good for you guys. I didn't think they would do something like that. But the action to me in Korra 2 was just a lot better. Like Zahir versus Korra in the air, clean. Oof. Even with Unalak and Vatu fused together when they got big, and she channeled the cosmic energy of the universe, and she came out with the blue. Oh my god, that was so awesome, man. It was amazing.
There are too many moments to me, like, are just like I just like they just outweigh like the things that I didn't like or felt like could be better. Like, I'm like, when Zahir starts, like when Zahir learns like to fly, that's one of the best things I've seen ever. Like, just like, that's one of those things like I've watched over. I'm looking at YouTube. I'm like, where the clip at? Where the clip at?
And to the void, empty and become wind. He just goes back. He just fly. You're my friend Nat. It's just funny because we call each other at the same time. We're like, what just happened? Like, what just happened? Like, we just both lost our minds. You couldn't believe it. That was crazy. That was one of my favorite moments. Yeah. This
dude just dropping knowledge. Like, and sometimes, like, when I'll be like, if I'm reading something or if I'm watching something and I hear some, like, you know, just kind of like ideological, like, mumbo jumbo, like, it's something that I'm like, you're just talking out your butt. Like, you're not really saying nothing. You fake. That's not fake deep stuff. But like the thing what I love about Zahir is, like, it's not just like he says something. It's like everything that sort of happens that's attached to the things that he's saying, like, are like critical not only to the story but about like what you take from it. It's like when he recites that haiku and he in the jail, and it's like he's not just spitting out a haiku for no reason. He's not just trying to be like, oh, I'm cool, you know, look at me, I'm gonna go to a poetry slam and like the next day, like. He's not doing that, right? He's no snacks. He's not doing that.
And his studying of Air Nation culture paid off when harmonic convergence gave him airbending. Yep. He picked it up pretty quickly, and I was like, yo, it all came full circle, man. It was really dope. It was all. Shout out to Zahir, man. Take flight like a plane. Oh my god, that was amazing.
You know, but like people in this community gotta. Like, it's not even like, you know, don't say how you feel. It's just more like, I think when it comes to certain things, like, it's not that serious. Like, I think there are things that if you're talking about, and I'm like, yo, you know, if you're sort of talking about, like, let's say a particular instance in like a manga, and you're like relating it to, you know, some like something like in our reality that's like an important topic or something, I could understand, like, if you're saying like, yo, okay, like this, you know, you're gonna have a certain energy like behind your stance on that. But a lot of the time that's not the case. Like, I think a lot of times people are just kind of like, I didn't like this plot point, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, it's like people going to war, like they got the bayonet ready, you know, and I'm like, that's not, it's not that serious. Like, it's really not.
And you not liking something doesn't make it bad.
Yeah,
I can't remember who said this, but there was something I can't remember. Some of the lines someone said, it was like, just because something makes sense doesn't mean it's not trash. I'm like, what? I don't agree with that at all. I'm like, what? So I don't know. That was weird. I don't even remember who said that. That was weird. I had to write that off my brain. But like, I think a lot of times people have an expectation for something. So Luffy should lose to Katakuri. That didn't happen. Therefore, this fight is bad, right? So it's like, and mind you, it's not a perfect fight by any means. I'm not a fan of how it literally ended. With the standing up, the fall back down. That just rubbed me the wrong way. It felt kind of abrupt. I'm not sure. I don't know. I keep revisiting it. I keep feeling the same way. But I mean, I like the majority of the fight for the most part. But it's just one of those things where it's like I can't call something bad because it didn't go the way I expected. And sometimes I firmly believe, okay, this is gonna happen in, I don't know, this show or this when I'm reading this, and it doesn't happen. And I can't just be like, whoa, it didn't happen, so it's trash. Like, no, did it make sense? If the character did something you didn't like, is it still in line with their goals and motivations, or maybe they went against it because of something that happened previously? Like, does it make sense? Like, you have to think about all of those variables before you be like, nah, I don't like this. This one's bad. Where's Jack? Where's Jack every chapter? Where's Kaido? Like, relax, man. I just started.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. And that's the thing. I think that's one of the reasons why. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain, like, when I'm reading something, I'm not like, well, like, where is that character? Where is this character? Like, I'm not particularly interested in that. I'm like, what's going on at the present moment in time, and like, how are you as a storyteller going to make this like interesting? Like, what makes sense, and how are you gonna move? How are you gonna drive the plot forward? Like what are you gonna do to like, oh, like, that's interesting. So that's what I'm most interested in. So that's why, like, I think I can understand, like I would never tell someone, like, don't make theory videos. Don't do that. Like, no. Like, yo, make your theories. Like, do your thing. Like, if that's what you do to have fun and like it brings you joy, like, and all that stuff, like, keep doing that. You know, like, I think that's what, to me, I think that's one of the sort of, at once, like, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's like, it's one of the best things, because the community, like, I think a lot of people in the community come together when it comes to certain theories and One Piece theorists, and all that. But then it's also like, you got these people that are like, oh, you know, that theory is trash, and that person trash because the theory trash. And I'm like, stop. Like, and then it just becomes too much.
Yeah, because like you saw to your Matidi at the day, like I find that when Joy White's talking about One Piece in general, whether it's in a group conversation or whatever, I just find myself like we're on a similar wavelength. Exactly. There's a lot of theories he makes where I'm like, this is not it, bro. But that doesn't mean that didn't make me like, you know what? He sucks because of that. Like, no, man.
Right.
Theories, whatever. Theories are hit and miss. It is what it is. I'm not gonna be like, I don't like Joy Boy theories because he thought, I don't know. I know it wasn't him, but Fujitora wasn't trying to travel. I don't even remember who said that, whatever it was. But like, you know, it's not like that for me. I don't ever take it that deep. But I don't know. They've been running amok with these time theories though. Talk about they're gonna bring back Ace. Did I see that Rayleigh was Zoro or something in the feet? I don't know, man. I'm like, listen, you gotta stop. You gotta relax. You gotta stop. They're going crazy with that one. I don't know. That was funny. Something like that, or Zoro got lost and got sent to the future with these guys. I'm like, then he would have been in Punk Hazard where they were when they showed up. Why, you know, like, it just, like, come on, man. Yeah, they've been running amok. Some of them made me laugh because some people showed it to me, and I'm like, oh my god, you can't be serious. But and they have so many views. I'm like, who clicks on these?
I think that's why they click on them, because it's like it's funny. Like, I definitely, like, you know, I definitely have like clicked on like some people, like, when they come up with like certain people, like, I'll watch and I'm like, I'll watch them because I know they're gonna say something like stupid. I'm sorry, I'm just like just something. I'm like what again, what mental gymnastics, how did you connect like these disparate like
opposite side of the spectrum points?
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm not getting it right now. But it's funny because like you presenting this like you at a literature conference right now. You like, well, you know, the intricacies of Relays
clearly, obviously, like what? Obviously, you're a little too confident there.
I can't, man. It's cool. It's cool.
I don't hate against theories. It's not my thing, but I just do it, man. If it's fun, like I said, if it brings you joy, you like doing it, you should do it. I mean, probably don't go off the deep end, but do what makes you happy. I'm not really theory. It's usually pretty calm and tame when I do it, and I'm going crazy. Like, what's gonna happen next chapter? Fujitora is gonna ride a meteor into one. Like, I don't like, I'm usually pretty temperate when I make like theories. I don't know.
Ride a meteor. I haven't heard that one. That's good. Oh my goodness. Okay. How long have we been streaming? Okay, like an hour. All right. What was that? Okay. I think one thing I also kind of want to do is just talk about like how do you I want to just kind of branch out like how do you feel like some people like I guess like okay, let's talk about like let's talk about the One Piece community, because I feel like a big reason why I kind of like took a step back was just because I felt like the conversations were getting very like weird, like people don't seem to know like why they're making the arguments that they're making. Some people, I think, they're not necessarily YouTubers, right?
Just people in the Discord and Twitter and stuff in general, comment sections,
And those, I think, some of those people just like they just want to be entertained. They want to fuel that. They want to be like, oh, there goes Dustin. Like I feel like, and I'm gonna be straight up. I'm not like I think to me I like Dustin's cool. Like I like Dustin. You know, like Dustin's like to me like I consider like Dustin a friend.
Yeah.
So for me, I think what bothers me is that there are people that treat Dustin as if he's some sort of like court jester or something like that, and like that bugs me. And I think that's when it gets like too far, when it's like you have an individual who is like Dustin's just a person. Dustin's like doing his thing. He's trying to make music. He's trying to, he's hustling, like he's working like his butt off, in Cali, and you know what I mean? And it's just like, I think people like present him as this like clown character, like this court jester, this like, something out of like Shakespeare or whatever. And it just like, to me, like that bothers me, because it's like, that to me is when we take it like a bit too far.
It's just manga.
Like I don't know.
Because even in my circle of friends, it happens sometimes. But like at the end of the day, like I say, he's my friend. He's my boy. It's nothing that I'm never going to not like him over some manga opinions. It's never ever that serious. There are pictures in the book. It's never that deep. Do I agree with his takes half the time? No. Right? Like no. We probably agree on very little. Like. There's no issue with that. It's just like he's one dude with an opinion. You don't have to like usually when he's just going off about One Piece, I just let him rock. Like I just watch and laugh. Like it's not even that like, oh, I think it's funny, like he's a joke to me. It's not like, oh, like look how one tweet put the whole timeline on fire just because he's like, I didn't know that chapter, right? And that's his personal enjoyment. There's nothing you can say or take away from that. It is what it is. Now, when he said things where he tried to correlate like Big Mom trying to sell a Luffy to time travel as a concept, that's false equivalency. That's a fallacy. Those things don't connect. So then I'll come in and be like, no, this is not it, Chief, right? But usually like I just let him rock. It's not that deep. So like I agree with you. Like don't take it too far. I understand. I want to say this because you brought it up earlier. Like the community can kind of weigh down on you because like you don't want to talk about certain things, or you're like, why are we talking about this? Or just like people try to say you shouldn't let communities and fan bases affect how you feel about a series. Absolutely, never let people's opinions and whatnot take away from the literal quality of the series itself. However, your experience while reading something, especially with these things on a week-to-week basis where you're conversing with a bunch of people, it doesn't matter to a certain degree. So if you're constantly met with like negativity with something you really like, it could kind of weigh on your experience a little bit. Because like one thing I say about me and Katekyoshi Hitman Reborn is like it may not be the greatest written series of all time, whatever it may be, but my experience reading that week to week with the like-minded individuals that's around that time on onemanga.com way back in the day, I loved it. I loved it. Like, we had when it went down, we made our own board, a Zeta board called Katekyo Hitman board. We would talk about theories and all kinds of stuff. Like, I had a great time talking about Reborn every single week, and it just enhanced the overall experience for me. I'm not going to make the manga any better than it is, but at the end of the day, that ride helps me love the series way more than it is. So I can understand sometimes if you like something like My Hero and everywhere you go, people like me just be like, it sucks, you know? Like, you know, I can understand. Like, it can be a little annoying. You can get under your skin a little bit, but it's just like, it's just manga, man. We gotta relax sometimes. Don't let it take you too seriously. Don't let it get under your skin, man. Enjoy what you enjoy. Love what you love.
Yep. Facts. But that's true. Like, I do agree. Like, but yeah, when you have those people like that, like you talk to, that you can talk to about like the things that you're reading or watching or whatever, consuming or whatever, like it's a dope time. So again, like that's one of the reasons why like I think I am like I'm really looking forward to like the Comic-Con, like getting to see people like in person and being able to talk with them about like, you know, like talk about One Piece amongst other things, because it's like I think again like you can take a break, especially from something that's like a long series. Like I'm pretty sure I know like Laz on that is on Case Closed. Like he loves Case Closed. Like he's on it, all right. Like he loves that manga, but it's like I'm not trying to catch up to like that many like I can't do it. I can't do it. You know, like there aren't enough like there's not enough time in the world for me to be like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna take my time and do that. I guess like, oh man, I'm trying to think of like the point I was trying to make. I like totally lost like my train of thought. Like I hate when that happens. I totally lost my train of thought. I was like, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Case Closed now. I don't even know what I was connecting. Oh no, but I was just kind of saying like you have people who like they like Laz is like one of those people that can just kind of do that. He can like read something that's like dumb, like dumb long, and like just go through it and read that. Like, and like and he'll do it and he'll love it and he'll stay like generally like pretty consistent with it, right? Like he'll read like in bulk like certain chapters. But like for me, it's like I used to be able to do that. I can't do that.
I'm washed up. I can't sift through 1,000 chapters of manga like I'm washed up.
No, I can't do that. So it's like there's certain manga like if I'm already like if I've already been reading them and I'm like caught up, like I'm still gonna need to take a break. Like I'm still gonna need to take a break from like One Piece from time to time. I'm gonna need to take a break from Hunter from time to time. I'm gonna need to take a break from when My Hero gets to that like to a certain point, I'm gonna need to take a break from My Hero from time to time. Same thing with probably something that's not gonna last that long. Which is great for me because I can actually collect it in volumes and all that. But it's good to step back if you need to step back. When you don't realize that you got to step back, and I think there are a lot of people who like, there's some YouTubers like who I feel like are big, but I feel like they also might need to take a step back from like the series. They might need to like, give it like a month, just but they can't because it's like this is like your livelihood.
I did that with Noblesse. I love Noblesse. Is the very first Korean webtoon I ever read in my life, and I've been reading it for probably a decade now. And it's got a place in my heart. But even when I was covering it weekly, there's times where I'm like, I don't have anything to really say with the chapter. I'm just not that interested in what's happening right now. So what I started doing now with Noblesse is I do it every month. Every month, the last week every month, I'll talk about the 4 chapters that came out during the month. In general, with my friend Alan, kind of the discussion about it instead of just me, right? So, even I had to take a step back from that series. I'm like, I can't just be doing this every week because like my energy's not the same. Like I'm trying to like force something. Oh, this panel was like pretty. Like that's like that. I'm talking about like how pretty one panel is in a like a webtoon that's very well drawn. So just like I'm looking for too much. It's not something like where I feel like like a Tower of God, there's something to discuss every week, no matter what. Even like One Piece and stuff like that. Like usually every week, there's a good amount of content to discuss. But yeah, I think some people should take a step back. I think a problem a lot of people do too is they may cover a series because of demand or it's pretty popular, and then with that, if you're not as invested in it, I feel like it shows at some point, which is why like at one point like my Discord, people were asking me like, oh, you should why don't you like do My Hero, like why don't you do this and that. It's like, listen, I cover the things that I care about the most because I'm passionate. I'm not a good actor. I wouldn't be a good actor. I couldn't be like, oh my God, oh, where's Thomas? like I can't do all that. It's not genuine. Like you'll be able to tell that I'm just doing this because like My Hero's popular, you're hopping on the wave. Like no, so like I do One Piece because it's my favorite manga. I do Tower God because it's my favorite webtoon. I do Monogatari because it's my favorite anime, and I love comics, so I'm gonna talk about comics no matter what. So it's just like I talk about the things that I am very passionate about, and most of these things have been with me for a while. Like Tower God's about 8 years, One Piece like 15 or something ongoing, Monogatari maybe not too much as long as, but like comics, I've been reading comics since before I even really could like speak. I was watching Spider-Man, like I was I grew up on that stuff. That's what it is. So I have no problem doing discussion or a video here, because even I want to do like a video on talking about like Muriel and certain my character. Like that's not an issue for me to literally constantly weekly cover something that I'm not that invested in. I can't do it, and I won't do it.
No, facts, and that's the thing. Like it's like I think people like and it's kind of like a sort of two-part thing I'm gonna say. Like one like you like have to understand, like again, like YouTubers are people. I think like there are a lot of people like that understand that. And I think in some ways like there are people that like in our sort of like little like just kind of like right like with Brago and Laz and Dustin and you know what I mean, like you, like me, and like these YouTubers like Trent, Steve-O, like you know what I mean, like we kind of understand like our sort of like viewers, like they get it, like they know that we're real people, like they're like, oh, like he's actually like doing like this thing like in real life, like he's a person, like he's got a career, he's got a job, like he's got to take care of like people and blah 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 and whatever. And so it's like they get that, so they know that like if we're covering like certain things and we're not covering other things, and it's like, yo, like we're just not covering those things. Like people don't come like people don't come to me being like, you gotta get back to One Piece. Like they don't do that because they know, like, and I've explained like, yo, I'm just not doing that right now. Like they're like, and I've explained, like I'm like, yo, I'm not covering Dr. Stone right now. I'm not covering Black Clover right now. I'm not covering Food Wars right now. I'm not covering those things. Like because I just don't have the time. Two, because like I'm not super invested in those series at the moment.
Food Wars has kind of lost me for the time being.
Food Wars is like, I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. It's losing me.
It took all of the bad shoujo like romance elements and just like just plopped them in there, and I was like, oh.
I will make her mine. Her tongue. Like, oh. Don't do this. Don't do this. That's not what I want. I totally feel you. Man.
And I was like, nope.
Yeah. And then like even at sometimes like like I'm not One Piece stuff. Like with you too, like I'm like, yo, BMC reads a lot of stuff and a lot of different things. Like I could completely understand and not wanting to read One Piece right now, because it's like a lot of people, I'm like, you guys just read Jump for the most part, or or action stuff, or it's like I feel like your scope isn't as vast, like that to be like an elitist or whatever. So it's just like, because your scope is so limited, like action battles shonen, it's like their view is just limited. So it's like with you, I'm like, yeah, I could be like, let's go read something like romance or something different. Cause like I'm like that sometimes too. Like yo, I'm reading too much like fighting now. Like it's like I need a good slow romance or psychological thriller or whatever it may be. So it's just like I feel like with a wider palette or whatever, like you can judge these things a little bit better. Not to say that your opinion is invalid just because you read shonen. That's not what I'm saying. It's fine. That's not, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Because I remember earlier I was saying like, being a stand-up series doesn't make your opinion invalid. Just because you're not one doesn't make your opinion. My point is that if you're both reading it and you both are making good arguments, acknowledge it. Don't try to write somebody off because you're a casual or you don't love One Piece as much as I do, or don't try to write me off because I like it more than you do. It is what it is.
No, facts. And I also think like the thing with the sort of whole thing about like, I was gonna say something else, but it doesn't really matter. Like I'm not gonna. But like the thing you sort of bring up about like, because I think when you've just read more, just kind of like like manga, like I think it's not like that's not what like makes you an elitist, right? Like it's not like I've read a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's not like that the fact that you like read a lot, that doesn't make you an elitist. What makes you an elitist is if you're like, I've read a lot, so my opinion is immediately better than your opinion. That's when it's like nah. You need to like go sit in the corner, my guy. Go sit in the corner. Go take a chair. Stay turned around for a couple of hours and think about why you're a jackass. Like
put on a dunce cap.
So it's like so I think for us it's like, and a lot of people like I think in our like that we know like in this community and stuff, like there are a lot of people in this community that like they read like they be reading manga, they be like consuming other like media and stuff like that, and they know what we're talking about, like, and we talk to them, and like those conversations are always dope. You know what I mean? Like shout out to certain people, like you know what I mean? Like Key's like one of my guys, like like there's some people that just like follow me, like Key, my guy Michael, like certain people, Shadi, like some people just read, like
the communist lizard. You use a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and that's like manhwas and everything too. Like me and him overlap on so many series that we read. So it's dope. Yeah,
and it's just like it's not even like those conversations are better so much. It's just they're just more varied, because it's like if we're talking about like like we can talk about like romance in a way that like I can talk about romance with certain people in a way that like with you and like people like in the chat and stuff like that I can't. Like if I go into a conversation and I'm talking about and I want to talk about like the romance stuff and why that's like vital and like why it's so GOAT and great and in the 7 Deadly Sins, it like you're gonna feel like a certain like pushback. You're gonna feel it. And it's like, come on, like you stand this manga. How do you stand 7 Deadly Sins? But you don't want to talk about the romance? Like, how does that work? Like, I don't like.
I like had that conversation the other day. Where like, I just want hands. I'm like, bruh, you're literally denying such an important aspect of the series. Actually, what it's really about. So I don't. But it is. I don't know. I can't be bothered with me head sometimes.
It's just so it's like, and it's not that like I'll be like, oh, these are my friends. I'm not gonna just like it's just like you always got to understand. Like for me, if I want to talk about like Boys of Manga, like there are people that I can talk to about Boys of Manga, and I talk with them all the time about it, and those conversations are dope. And if I want to talk about comics, like there are certain people that I can talk to, like yourself and and other folks, like and those convos are dope. But I think people just need to read more.
And that will never stop me, because there's a couple of series I read where like the central plot and whatnot wasn't about the boys' love, but it was in there and it was one of the integral themes. But that will never stop me from reading something, because I'm like, good romance is good romance. I don't care who the romance is in between. That's not important. That's not, well, I do care if it's illegal, but it was illegal. But yeah. So because I don't know. Because I remember when I was watching and enjoying, like I don't even think it's technically boiler, but I love the hell out of Free, and people give me so much flack for that. And the thing about it is, I didn't even see it like how it was until like someone's like, "Yo," I'm like, "Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about." But Free out, and I'm gonna watch it. Swim and go. I'm gonna watch it. I don't care. Like, you're not gonna stop me with your bigoted opinion. We got it. And like, I want to be looking clean too. Like, oh my lord,
dope stuff. Free Yuri. There's a lot of stuff out there. Like I'm so happy for Banana Fish. Like I'm so happy for that manga, because like I remember reading through that and I was like, whoa. Like it was one of those manga that like there are certain things that it just does. Like with the relationship between Ash and I always forget the dude's name, but there's just like that integral relationship that like is just dope. It's just dope. But there's also all this other stuff that behind that really sort of talks about like, okay, like yes, like there is like you know, like it's clear like this gay relationship, but it's not just about like their relationship. It's like also about like, you know, it's dope. Like people is like throwing hands. It's like Ash is like a crazy marksman. It's like, you know, like there's a lot of stuff with like with the mafia and like these crime, like in this crime family and like all this other stuff that's going on. It's like and just like the sort of like the consequences of like of war and like going through those experiences and all this other stuff. It's just it's a dope manga, and it's like if the relationship of the like sort of two protagonists is like it's gonna stop you from experiencing all that greatness. Like it's like that like to me, like that's just a shame. It's just a shame because there's like a lot of stuff out there that is dope, and you know, people are gonna miss out on it. Like they're just gonna miss out on it.
A lot of folks are I'll close-minded. That's one thing I try to get people to just be more open-minded to just even just something as simple as a genre, right? Because even like Psycho just said that he has a music background, so you connected with like the stuff in Your Lie in April a lot more, right? Whereas I will connect to a sports series a lot more because I have my background in soccer and whatnot, right? So certain sports series hit more for me because I'd be like, oh, I get certain things more deeply than someone who didn't experience sports. But like that's a genre that some people don't want to get into because like, well, let's watch the NBA. Like, come on, bro. Like that's not even funny. And then second of all, it's just like, come on, like you're really gonna let it because it's just a sport stop you from trying it? Like, it's one thing if you try and you don't like it, just give it a shot. It's just there's so many things you could probably experience that you might like. And like maybe you don't like the sports genre, but maybe you like Haikyuu, and that's the one you like. Like there might be just the one for you. Right? I tell people like you may never like romance to the degree that I like romance, but I promise you, there's probably one out there for you if you just take the time to try and look. But the days of me pulling people's teeth to try these kind of stuff is over. I'm tired. I'm old.
Yeah. I think like and I think for me it's just like I don't even. I think what I do is, you know, if people like want like suggestions or they want to talk about like manga or they want to suggest things to me, then I'm just like, yo, cool. You know, like what I forgot who it was. Somebody suggested MW, Osamu Tezuka's manga to me, and I can't. It was a while ago, probably maybe like a month ago, something like that. And my fiance got it for me for my birthday, and man. That manga, man, that's one of those manga where when you read it, and like for me, like I'm hesitant to suggest it because there are just certain things that I know like people just are not like they are not willing to like read about, and I understand it. It's like one of the like central. One of the central sort of like storylines in like well, no, let me not talk about it because I'm not trying to spoil nothing. But there's a lot of there's some stuff in there that like, you know, when you see it, it's like, you know, assault, like sexual assault, like rape, you know, sexual acts that just like are not like there's just no, you know what I mean? So like they're right. So like there are things that like, you know, or like the right, like certain things are like implied, like, you know, that those things happen, but you don't see them. It's not like, oh, like here's like, you know, it's not a hentai or nothing like that, right? But it's like there are certain things you're like, whoa, like it tells you like that, like, man, like shit was like intense, like shit's intense, like in Japan, like around the time that it was being written. Certain things were going on, you know. So I understand that people are like, I don't want to read that, or like text like that, where it just kind of goes like a bit too far for them, and they're just not comfortable with it. I understand if you're not comfortable with certain things, like when it comes to like, you know, when it comes to sex, I get that, like assault and all that stuff. I totally get that, right?
Yeah, because some people can't like read Berserk because of certain things like that, which I'm like, I guess I can understand that. I mean, yeah,
you know, like I totally get that. Like I'm still like I can't think about it because like it just puts me to in this like place, like, and it like, and then I start thinking about like I'll go from there, and then I start thinking about all kids, and like it's just too much, and then I just like shut down,
I know
So
those
that's
ones.
just me. Yep.
I get like that with romance.
Yeah.
Especially I can't remember on Twitter. Someone was like, "Yo, what's like the best type of arcs?" And people were like, "War arcs, this arc, tournament arcs." I'm like, "Yo, the arc in love in the romance where the MC breaks up with his significant other, like, or like the NTR arc where you get cheated. I'm like, oh my god, don't even start me with the feels when that happens. I'm like, yo, why did he or she do them like that? Like, I'm like, no, and I'm like going through my day. I'm just sad. Like, damn, bro, that really happened.
yo, every time I'm like, cheater. Like, I'm just like,
why'd you do
that? You're terrible. Man. Like, I never forgive you. Like, I get really like upset, and I think like, but also love is like, just like the kind of like, you know, some of the, like the romances where like you have like the character that is supposed like the protagonist that's supposed to be like always pining for like the better, like the more like mature, like significant like other or whatever, and then they like have that like moment, like it's like the opposite, right, where you're just like when they stand up for themselves and they're like, yo, like I'm here, like I'm growing, like I'm becoming a better person, like I'm like the character development is like strong in me, and like it's positive, and they just shut down like the significant other who's just like, and usually like the other person's like a snob or something like that. They're like, oh, you know, I'm cool, like I got all these skills, da 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 da. Like one thing, I guess my example would be like, right, like Nodame, right, like Nodame Cantabile, right, like when Nodame is like, and stop playing yourself, you know what I mean, Chisaki, like, stop playing yourself, like I've grown, you better respect me. Like I love moments like that where they just like, you better respect me, like I'm here, we're both in this relationship, you know. I love stuff like that. It gets me hyped.
And it's real, man. It's like these are things that I can relate to. That, you know, I've gone through, you know, breakups and this and that, stuff like that. So it's like, it's nice. You know, I can't punch somebody through 80 walls, but I'm heartbroken. So it is what it is. I mean, and then like I like some of the more happier ones too. I don't know what it is. I'm kind of a sucker where like I like the kind of tragic twist where like it doesn't end well. I'm like sad about it, but like it's like it was good. But like sometimes I just need something happy, no problems.
Oh yeah.
just a smooth sailing for like 60 chapters. I want no issues. Maybe one argument, you know. Happiness out. Like just, you know, I don't need that level of edge. Some people, I'm like, yo, everything you read is incredibly edgy. Are you afraid to cut yourself on that edge, man? Like, joy out. Enjoy, smile and laugh, man. Like,
yo, I agree. I think for me, like that's what I've been doing more recently. MW is not like a happy manga at all. I finished that like maybe like a few days ago, and like I was like, man, like I really missed like my just like happy like manga. I really missed that just like that constant like just progression where you know at the end these two are gonna be together, and it's just that nice slow burn, and it just keeps getting better and better, and the romantic tension just keeps getting like, you know, like you just know like just with every volume, with every chapter, like they just creep closer and closer to like that just like that togetherness, and it's just great. Like one I was reading, and I'm reading right now. It's let me look it up. I think it's called Komono. Look it up. Komomo Professiere. I think it's like a manga about this girl who who was like rich, and one of the servants was like someone who like, you know, this boy who cared for her, and then like, you know, she like basically her family like loses everything, and then the boy becomes like successful, and so you're just watching them like, you know, you're watching them like go through like growth like in their own sort of respective ways, and like it's just nice because they love each other. It's like very clear that they do, but like they show it in different ways, and you just kind of read through the volumes. And it's just funny. It's just jokes. Like these, there are those typical characters that are wild. There's always like the ridiculous, like the yandere. There's always like these other characters that just add to the comedy and the nonsense and all the like extra stuff as they're like growing more in love. To me, like I like it. It's just happy. It's just a happy manga. It has like like they're baking. The boy's like a baker. I'm a pastry chef, and so like there's always like these dope spreads where you just see all these pastries. And I'm like, I gotta go to a bakery now. You know what I mean? It's just happy.
Yep. And happiness out. Sometimes you need that.
Time is all right. 7:55. All right, so I'm probably gonna end it now because it is late, and I got work that I got to do tomorrow. I got so much writing I got to do tomorrow. But to me, the stream is pretty good. Got to talk about, got to talk about that One Piece community nonsense. And I'm gonna read the chapters. I'm gonna read the chapters sometime this week, probably sometime. If I have the time, either like Thursday, because I'm not gonna be at Comic-Con on Thursday because I do have I have a seminar and I have to like do a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm gonna read the One Piece chapters at some point this week. Probably on Thursday because I'm not gonna be at Comic-Con, but I do have classes, so I have the time to react to those chapters, read them before.
You meet everybody, right?
Yeah, so that I can like react with them. Yeah. And do all that stuff and have a discussion and all that.
That should be a dope stream with all you guys in there. Should be
good. Yeah.
I wish I could come, cool. But my cousin's getting married on the 6th, man. So,
but I got you. Family.
Yeah. So I'm in it. So like I'm part of it. Not like I'm just showing up. Like I'm in it. So I gotta be there. So.
Oh yeah.
Like where is he? New York Comic-Con. Like it's okay. It's all right. Next time maybe what's the other one called? The one in California.
Oh, Anime Expo.
Yeah, like I'll figure it out for next year. But yeah.
Yeah, I might try to go to that. I might try to go to that. Like I should be. Well, it depends. It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm teaching during that time and like that's what is going on, like then I probably won't be able to, because it's like I make too much money teaching during the summer to like give that up, and it's not one of those jobs where I can just kind of say, hey, okay, I'm taking a few days off. It's like I gotta be there like every like 5 days a week. So I see though, if I can make it and I'm making enough, and I can save enough, like me and my friends might make a trip to Cali. I might do that.
Yeah, that's looking like a plan for next year. I'm about it.
Yeah.
But Laz is my stand-in. He's my proxy. So
Laz, what it is.
So I'm so like when you see Laz, remember I'm there too. Me and Laz had sushi the other day. Like was it Wednesday? Sushi the other day. But yeah. Remember we live in the same city, so I've seen him a couple times.
Nice. Yeah, Laz is dude. Laz is that dude. Like he's one of those guys. Like I think, like he just got his head on his. Like he's like again like I've never seen Laz like enter like a conversation and allow the conversation to like take over like his sense of like reason and like you know what I mean. Like he's got like his own pace. Like he really like,
he doesn't really get wrapped up into paces really very often. Yeah. Like even I could catch myself like you said earlier. I could catch myself like yo. Why am I even? What happened? What I get wrapped up in this? Like I don't care about this. Like even today, I can't remember. Like not to derail this channel, I want to end it. They're talking about some tweet about Tsunade beating All Might, and they're talking about it. I'm like, I like typed a really in depth paragraph, and I'm like, I don't give a crap about this. Why did I go in? It's not a topic that interests me, but anyways, yeah.
No, facts. That's why I've been trying to. I'm an editor, but yeah, I totally feel you. Like if I get like comments like on my video or something, I'm just like I'm not even gonna bother doing like super lengthy responses. I'm just gonna be like if it's like something stupid, I'm just gonna be like, all right, have a nice day. Thank you for coming, and I'll keep it moving. But yeah, I feel you. All right, let's get out of here. Thank y'all for coming through. All right, this is just some stream where we talked about a whole bunch of things that I think we needed to talk about.
Shout out to the chat.
Shout out to the chat, obviously. Shout out to all y'all that came through. Y'all are dope. All right, for being here. It went up to like 20, like I think like 20, 24, 25 like viewers at some point, which is like amazing. That's always like great to see. And it's always good. Like it's always good when you just get to like talk about like manga and chill, and like it's not like my manga's better than your manga and like and like nonsense. Like it's just good. It's just a good time. All right. So thank you for coming through, Naya.
No problem. Anytime. I always like streaming with you.
Yeah, it's just dope. It's just always dope combos. You know what I mean? Like just like there's just like a certain like again like it's like the wavelength. It's just like, all right, like like I know like if I'm gonna talk to you, like it's never gonna get to some place where I'm like, man, Naya should just like walk into like an incinerator. Like no, like that's not. It ain't going there. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna have some sort of headache. I'm not gonna take Advil.
You have to prepare yourself. Like, oh god. Yep. Oh man.
But yeah, and I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna maybe I'll read some Tower of God chapters. I don't know. I'll see. I'll see. Because the Tower of Gold.
You've been enjoying it though. I like what I'm seeing.
It is dope. Tower of God, man. Some of y'all, and I forgot who it was. Somebody was like, yo, I might have to check it out. And then they checked it out and they were like, yo, this is dope. And I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. So it's always great to see people like get in on that stuff. Like I got in on the Tower of Goldness. Okay, so I'm going to go probably read some chapters. Again, thank y'all for coming through. All right. Thank you for coming through, Naya.
Of course.
And I'm a Black Manga Critic, y'all. Thank you for coming through to this manga and stuff stream. And I'm out.